morning, Alex Stone with ABC News.
Hey, McGraw, yeah, the punch in the face here in Tampa was kind of not necessarily a light tap, but it wasn't a knockout round. They actually got lucky here in Tampa that one, the storm went down to a Category 2. They thought it was going to be a 4 coming in here, and that it ended up moving a little bit to the east instead of the eye going over Tampa. It went between Tampa and Orlando, which means Orlando got the dirty side of the storm, that upper right-hand side, and Tampa got the drier side. Still, it was very wet. And still 100-mile-an-hour winds, and they've got trees down and power lines down. But in Tampa itself, they did relatively well overnight as damage assessment teams and police are just starting to go out now that the sun has come up. But there are other areas. Jacksonville on the other coast, on the East Coast, dealing with storm surge right now. Miami had its flooding issues, mainly superficial, that once the streets drain, they'll be fine. But nobody knows what happened to the Keys, really, at this point. They got to get teams in there because communication to the Keys is not great right now.
What about the pictures of the water in Tampa going away? That's unbelievable.
It was pretty crazy for Tampa Bay to empty out, and that created major concerns about the storm surge that was going to come back in. And the people yesterday, before the weather got too bad, they were taking walks out there, taking their dogs and going down to take pictures on the floor of the bay without any water in it. The National Weather Service put out a tweet saying, get out of there. That water will come right back in as fast as it went out. If the wind changes, the water will come rushing in, and it would wash anybody away. But still, people were flocking down there to take pictures in the bay without any water in it. Boats were on the bare ground. It was pretty incredible to see.
Yeah, unbelievable. What about the power? They're saying up to 6 million people without power?
Yeah, about half of the customers here in Florida have no power right now. In Tampa, it's several 100,000 people. Looking around, looks like downtown Tampa has power. The football stadium that we're next to has power. But it could take a long time to get all the power back on. This they knew was going to be a major power situation because of the winds going into this. Very different than Harvey, where that was all about the rain and the flooding. This was going to be a wind event and the power going out. Crews are coming in from all over the country to try to get the power back on, but it's going to take some time in many of the areas. Right now, though, this morning, about 6 million people have no power in Florida.
Yeah, when you say how much, do you mean a couple of days, a couple of weeks? How much time are we talking about for 6 million people to
They
get their
don't
power
know.
back?
In many cases, a couple of days, and more than that in some areas, in more rural areas or where they have bigger problems with the power system. It could be a week, 2 weeks, potentially. People here were told to be ready to be on their own completely for 72 hours without any assistance, and that eventually the government could get to them. And if folks didn't go to shelters, they're still in their homes and they may have no power right now and waiting for it to come back on, but it's going to take some time.
So bottom line, Alex Stone, after all of this, it seems like the worst was averted because it moved just enough the last couple of moments, right?
Yeah, it seems like definitely true. Naples took a hard hit, but they also don't have any storm surge issues today, and they feared that they were going to. They don't have any major damage down there. We're not seeing luckily, as of yet, and this can always change, but the devastation like Hurricane Andrew. Nobody wanted to see just complete areas wiped out like a moonscape. Trailer parks gone. So they've changed building codes here since Andrew. They've done a number of different things that may have played a role. They emptied out the trailer parks, made sure nobody was in there. But sometimes it takes time, too. After Hurricane Katrina, we woke up the next day thinking everything was great.
Right.
And then it all started to deteriorate after that. We have to wait and see what these damage assessment teams find while they're out.
Good point. Alex Stone live in Tampa. Alex, thanks for checking in.